Milo Yiannopoulos, the provocateur who for some reason everyone would fall for his bait and take him seriously. Biggest mistake ever. I don't understand why everyone didn't just ghost him and not care what he said, because when someone is a provocateur and a troll, and by the way, the history of Milo is he used to be one of those SJW journalists who said we need to regulate speech. And then he flipped once he realized, oh my God, look at all of the fame and the cash and the brand upping that comes with becoming this right-wing troll. And anytime you have a troll, you know that you do not feed the troll. The number one, in fact, the only rule about trolls is you don't feed the troll. And that is what basically everyone did. They proceeded to do that exact thing. Now, Milo Yiannopoulos is alleged to be in more than $2 million of debt. That is right. Now, we did a story about how there was one of the two. I think I did two segments about the fall of Milo Yiannopoulos. One of the two was one of the really rich funders of his, which was, I think, a cryptocurrency billionaire or something like that. He actually died right before his whole thing would go on, because he's got apparently like a bunch of workers and a whole staff, and so you can't support a whole staff without billionaire funding for this guy, I guess, which is tough to do. Now, remember, I did also a segment about how he wrote a whole piece on Jordan Peterson because he's really salty that Jordan Peterson changed his position on him due to political expediency, which is absolutely what Jordan Peterson does, but he did that because he was jealous, not because he's actually trying to be objective. Now, here's what the Daily Beast says. They say right-wing provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos is being buried under a mountain of debt, according to documents published by fellow far-right activist Neil Erickson, who also called him out in a video titled, "Milo is a total money-hungry shill." Erickson, an Australian who heads the United Patriots Front, claims he has been, quote, heavily involved in trying to get Milo Yiannopoulos to Australia and work to get him funded by Australian events management run by brothers Dan and Ben Stiller, who only to be taken advantage of. The 2018 Australian tour failed, despite a successful run in 2017, during which he spoke to the Australian Parliament and generated crowds of both supporters and protesters in the street. Quote, "The story is a long story, and I wanted to tell it correctly." Erickson explains before a rant about how Gavin McInnes, the now former leader of Proud Boys, is allegedly money-hungry too, and how Yiannopoulos even pawned his wedding ring and maxed out his husband's credit cards to swindle people. Among the millions he apparently owes is $1.6 million to his own company to pay his staff, $400,000 to his former patrons, the Mercer family, and $153,000 to his lawyers related to the $10 million lawsuit he filed against Simon & Schuster, which was set to publish his book. Dangerous, that project was later dropped. Erickson's documents, which look at times like journal notes, also show that Yiannopoulos owes nearly $50,000 on maxed out credit cards and some $20,000 for jewelry. The Guardian also reported that he was in debt to a wedding venue. Far-right writer Ian Miles Chong, I wonder why he's giving Chong money, and anti-Islamic campaigner Pamela Geller, among others. According to Erickson's documents, Yiannopoulos was considering moving to Australia last September. "I am really seriously considering a move to Australia in the next year or two. The political environment in the U.S. is insane, so pulling this off really matters to me." So, not only has he basically fallen to political irrelevancy, he is now also in monetary troubles. He is in big monetary troubles. Almost $2 million in debt. I don't know how he's going to bounce back from that, because even the rich billionaire donors actually, who were funding him, like the Mercers and that crypto guy who ended up dying, they're not funding him anymore. They dropped him. So he is in big trouble. Irrelevancy plus, being dropped by all your funders. Not looking good for Milo, man. Looking really, really bad for this guy. Really horribly.